everyone? It is I, Zara Khan, aka 5th Grade Duelist, here with Hani Jawhari, pro player, former member of Luxury, whatever that team was called, Luxury Team. And he has many Yu-Gi-Oh! Accomplishments. Before we get into it, if you want to watch these podcast lives, then please go to my Twitch, twitch.tv/5thrateduelist. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. And we are on YouTube as well. And yeah, I'm posting a lot of content, so be sure to check us out. And maybe I'll insert an ad here. Okay, go. Okay. And we're back.
Awesome.
Alright, so Hani, can you introduce yourself, please?
How's it going? Hani Jawhari. If some of you might know me. I travel a lot. I go to a lot of events, and I've accomplished some things in this game. I'm glad to be on the podcast.
Okay, what are some of your Yu-Gi-Oh accomplishments?
Uh, I have a list. I can pull them off my meta file, and if you guys
Sure.
are not a part of that, you guys can check that out. Let me pull out the accomplishments. Here we
Let's see. Have you won a YCS?
I have. I've won YCS 3v3 Lima, Peru.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool.
Uh, for the events I topped, in this specific order, it was YCS Dallas 2017, YCS Secaucus 2018, uh, NAWCQ, and I believe that was in Dallas 2018, UDS Vegas 2019, YCS Atlanta 2019, YCS Portland 2019, I top 8'd. YCS Niagara Falls 2019, I top 16'd. YCS Peru 3v3 2019, I won. YCS Pasadena 2019, I top 32'd. UDS Tulsa 2020, I got top 8. YCS Vegas 2020, I got top 16. YCS Remote this year, I got top 32. And then YCS Remote Vegas, I got top 4. YCS Columbia, I got top 32. YCS Hartford, I got top 8, and then YCS Brazil, I got top 32, and that's like the full list.
Okay, damn. No one has ever like laid it out like that, so that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
well, yeah,
That took
that's my
a
accomplishments.
full minute and a half to say, so we all know that he is cracked indeed. He is super cracked indeed. Do you remember the first time we met? Do you remember our interaction?
Yeah, you're playing my friend Carter.
Uh-huh. Do you remember what you said and what I said?
Um, yeah.
What's your recollection?
Um, you were just playing Carter, and I don't know. You said something about me watching the duel,
Yeah, I did.
and
Yeah.
then I was like, all right, I don't know what to say. I was just watching the duel. I don't know. I don't know what to say other than that. And that was it.
Cause you gave me the weirdest look. Cause the thing is, like,
Honestly, I don't think I did, but I'm just here to watch. I was there to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I was like, all right.
well, I would like to officially and publicly apologize to you for my snide comment that I made towards you.
Well, it's okay. I'm not a person that holds grudges or anything like that. I'm not that type of person. I'm a kind person. If anyone knows me.
Okay, that's
So
fair. Yeah, I did have a much more favorable opinion of you as I got to know you better. So yeah. Um, but yeah, in my mind, he looked at me funny, and it was very
no,
distracting because I never. That was my first big tournament. Like I never did anything
oh,
bigger than a locals. So
I understand.
I was like really nervous,
You were in the
and
finals too, so I get it.
yeah.
I mean,
So
that's cool though. That was a fun tournament actually.
it
Good
was,
memories.
it was, yeah. I miss that. I would like to go back. I think that would be dope.
Yeah, I love Gamer's Choice. Shout out to them. James Chow, you're insane.
Yeah, shout out to Gamer's Choice. When I couldn't get home because I couldn't find a cab and my Uber app wasn't working, they got me an Uber
Wow.
home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they paid for it and everything. So
No way. That's
no, Uber
insane.
home, not flight home. But
No, but I mean that's still insane. Like what? That's cool.
yeah, yeah, it was really nice of them because I was like holding all this freaking Yu-Gi-Oh boxes and I didn't know how to get home. But yeah, super kind people indeed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. So how'd you get into Yu-Gi-Oh?
Um, when I was really young, I had some friends just bring me into it. They were kind of like watching the show, and I got into it, and then they got out of it real quick, and then I got out of it, and like that was it for the longest time. And that's when I was in Ohio. I was super young at the time. Like I'm talking about really young. I think I want to say like 8 maybe.
How old are you
When I
now?
first 21.
Oh wow, you're a baby.
Yeah.
No
Uh,
offense. I mean
I
that in the
know.
most respectful way
Everyone.
as possible.
I, I know, I get it. Everyone else says that, but people don't think I'm that young. Everyone always thinks expects an older age from me, but I'm not. I'm young and I'm hungry. That's it. But um my friends pretty much got me into the game at a young age, and I moved actually from Ohio to Louisiana, and then I started like watching the show, playing the game a little bit more. I don't know, I just got interested in it like all of a sudden. And my brother was always waxing me. He was just like always beating me, and when we were playing. And honestly, we were just playing like decks from the show, so it wasn't like anything serious. And then eventually, I started figuring out like, well, I want to win more, so I started looking into it more. I found out like there's locals. I started going to those. Then I found Dueling Book, and then locals disappeared once I like found Dueling Book. Like I really started grinding that, and I just grinded that to the fullest. Um, and pretty much played locally, and then from there, I started like going to a regional. Like my friends from locals were like, "Oh, let's go to a regional," and I didn't do so well. I didn't top. My like I was playing like a decent deck at the time. I would say like I wasn't playing anything terrible. My brother on the other hand, he was doing pretty well. Like he topped his first regional he actually ever attended.
Oh wow.
Um, And yeah, like it's actually crazy. Like my brother actually like was seeing more success than me in the beginning, and then as things like went on, I just started playing a lot. Like I actually just was on Dueling Book tons, reading the card pool, like trying to figure things out in the format consistently, trying to work on decks, work on ratios, stuff like that. And did that for a very long time. And eventually, like I start traveling to YCSs, and I go to like I want to say I go to a few in 2016. Like I think I went to like two of them in 2016. I don't think I go to nationals, but I think I go to two YCSs. I might have went to nationals that year too, but I think I played like two YCSs. I didn't play many. I only played the ones like very close. Um, I almost topped YCS Dallas in 2016, and I was like 14 years old. And
Oh wow.
I think I got like 36th place, and I lost in the bubble. But that was a cool event. And then um, I'm young. Like I'm really young at this point. I'm like 15, 14, 15 at the time. And 2017, I play only two events, and that was YCS Atlanta Zoo format. And I felt like I wish I had prepped for that event a little bit more because I prepped for every other event after that, like tons. But I didn't
Mhm.
play any other event after Atlanta. Like I just prepped and play tested like a lot, and my friend Paul Cooper played my decks at every event, and he bubbled almost every single event in 2017. I'm talking about literally almost every single one. I think he bubbled like 5 times in a row in 2017, but all
Wow.
with my decks. And at that point, I was like, wow, I need to really travel more. He's bubbling every event with my deck list and stuff. So I think if I was actually playing, it would be different results. So
You know, that's
that's what
one
ended
thing
up
I've
happening.
heard about you is that you are like some sort of master deck builder. Like the first
Uh,
time I heard about you, cause I know Cody. Cody's my friend. And he said that he got the list he won Nats with from you. And
yeah.
then I started to hear more from other people as I'm like, who should I have on my podcast? They're like, oh, Hani's really good at deck building. So do you want to talk more about your deck building process?
Yeah, so when I go about deck building, I pretty much like look at what's going on in the meta. Like I'll look into like recent regionals, recent events, and look at everyone's profile. Like I'm talking about everyone's profile, like anyone. It could be literally anyone. It doesn't make a difference to me if it's a random, if it's a top player. It doesn't make a difference to me. I look at everyone's profiles. I want to see what everybody in the player base is doing. And this is a good way to pretty much bounce off like ideas for your deck building. And another thing is it's good to see what everyone's playing to know like what you're going to be prepared for when you go into a tournament. Um, and I feel like the best example for that for me would be like YCS Hartford. I looked into so many decks for YCS Hartford, and honestly, and like uh, based off the deck profiles, I already knew what I was versing once I got to the event, and my deck was totally different for YCS Hartford. Like I was playing something like totally different than the whole entire room, and I feel like Christian Urena was on the same wave, and
What deck
um,
was it?
uh, it was the adventure punk deck. Like nobody was playing punk cards, nobody was playing adventure cards for Hartford, and me and Christian Urena were the only ones doing it. Like, and we
Uh-huh.
shaped the format that tournament. Like nobody realizes, but we shaped the whole entire format that tournament. And for nationals in Europe, like all the national events, it was all Brave Punk because of our profile. I think we brought light to the deck
Oh
at the
wow,
time. Um,
that's a lot of
I don't
influence.
I don't think a lot of people who like were on that deck beforehand. Everyone was really on Sword Soul and Despia. Those were the two top decks of the format. And it was really like right after YCS Mexico and YCS Colombia, Despia was just dominating the format. Everybody thought Despia was insane. Everybody thought the Sword Soul deck was insane. And I just started playing the Brave card. I started playing Fairy Tale Snow. Um, the Punk cards, like those cards are all like really broken and people soon to realize that. And yeah, Despia kind of just like disappeared from there. Like you've rarely seen the Despia deck actually perform or do well ever since that. It actually just got outpaced. Like everyone thought that deck was insane, and the deck literally got outpaced by the format. Like, and that has happened a lot in the past. That happened in APC format. It happened in multiple formats before, where a deck just gets overpowered and is just never played again.
Yeah, it goes from meta to rogue like overnight, type
Yep.
of a thing. So
Sword Soul is
yeah.
actually still like a deck that like it went to Rogue, but like that deck is like a deck that's gonna pop up randomly, and Despia can pop up randomly too. But those decks are always I feel like are gonna be like random decks in the format just because of how the game is. Like things always rotate back.
Okay. So whenever you're kind of like trying to figure out like the cards to put in the deck, like, do you craft the main deck first, or do you like think about
Um,
like core
so
cards, or what?
yeah, so it's main deck first, and when I build my main deck, like I'm trying to figure out what my combo is. And I would start seeing what one card could do, and then soon I would start to figure out what two cards can do, and and I build boards from there, and I figure out combos that way, and then I build my deck around those combos. But like I also have to recognize bricks. Like if I'm playing this package, I have to see like how many cards are like actually good to draw, or how many cards are actually like, just like cards that you don't want to draw. I try to minimize the amount of bricks in my deck. Usually, like I'm down to play like maybe 2 to 3 bricks, max three in the deck. I'm never really trying to play more when
Okay.
it comes down to deck building, because like you play too many, like you just don't want to see too many in your opening hand, and like that could just lose you duels. And when I'm building a deck, it's usually me trying to play like 12 non-engine. And that's for like 12 non-engine if I'm trying to play like a non-combo based deck. If I'm playing a combo based deck, I think combo based decks still have to play non-engine. It would probably like 6 to 9 non-engine for for combo decks. So 6 to 9 in combo decks is good, and then like 12 plus. I think it's 12 plus for non-combo decks.
Okay. All right.
And that's how I go about it for like specific decks. And 12 non-engine and like 40 to 42 cards is like 50% to draw two of them, and that's why like you would want you would want that ratio. And then and like 9 and 40 is like 50% to draw one, which is like fine.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So like whenever you're trying to decide like whether a card is good or a deck is good, like do you collaborate with other people or you kind of do it in a vacuum?
So it depends honestly. Like A lot of the time, I try to play on Dueling Book on my own and grind rated, and I do my own testing for the most part. Like I play what I feel comfortable with. I'd never go based off of other people. Like I've never picked up somebody else's deck and just like played it and went to an event with it. Actually, I always
Hmm.
put in the work for my own deck list because I need to know that. Like I need to know the ins and out of my deck, and I feel like if something's really broken and my friends found something so insane to the point where I have to play it, then it's over. Like I'll play it, but other than that, I'm trying to figure out like what's the best deck. And I mean, last event I got a lot of people who helped me in my hotel room. They just like I feel like I always know what deck I'm playing, and it's just singular ideas that people will give me to influence my deck list. Like last event, somebody was like, "Yeah, man, like maybe you should just main deck spell canceller instead of side decking it." And I'm like,
Okay.
"Yeah, Ruben, you're right. Maybe I should just main deck it," and it worked. And it worked.
Okay.
It was insane. So I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was insane. I think doing that, and it was an out to mine. As soon as I realized I was an out to mine, I'm like, yeah, I guess I do just main it. So.
Okay. That's fair.
Oh, and Dino Mishkis too. He put me on Dino Mishkis on the side deck, and a lot of people weren't playing Dino Mishkis at the time. And then that pretty much went crazy after that event. Everyone started putting Dino Mishkis, and some people started putting it in their main deck. Dino put it in his main deck, and he won.
Yeah, that's true. He did do that.
So,
Um.
and Gunther put it in his main deck for the last event.
Oh, okay. I don't know who Gunther is, but I've heard of him.
Gunther is Christian Urena. That's like his nickname.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Christian.
Yeah,
Christian's very nice. I like him a lot. Okay.
yeah, he's awesome.
So, like, the thing is, I would like to play Dueling Book more, but the thing is, I'm in low rank DB, and it's so miserable to get through. Um,
Uh, okay, so
so
like
what do I do?
I always say this like you got to grind through it. And honestly, it's good to grind through low rated DB. Like sometimes you verse these weird random decks and you learn and read the cards, and one day you'll verse a deck like that at an event and you'll be like, "Wow, I'm so happy I versed that guy on low rated and read all these cards so I knew what they did." Like I'm being that serious. Like that has happened so many times in the past before to me. Like it was great that I've played like these people unrated. Like there's so many decks that like I just know based off of just playing Dueling Book, and like I feel like that's the advantage. Like some people didn't know what the Math Mech deck did, or some people don't even know how to play against like Runic Mystic Mine, or people don't know how to just play against specific matchups because they don't play enough. You got to play on Dueling Book to pretty much get familiarized with every single matchup, and that for me is what I do, and to get a general idea of what the meta is. Like if you grind Dueling Book and you're playing the average player, you're playing, or you could be playing a top player. You don't know who you could be playing. You could be playing anybody, but at the end of the day, that's the player base. That's the people that you're probably gonna verse at a YCS or an event. And if anybody that's playing Dueling Book is probably like taking it serious, like those might be the people that like are prepping for an event as well. So I think it's always good to play Dueling Book, and you can get a lot of ideas just by playing. And like you could craft. And me personally, like sometimes I'll play like 20 matches in a row, or I'll play like 10 matches in a row before YCS. I'll play like 10 matches in a row because it's like at a YCS it's 10 to 11 rounds. You play 10 to 11 matches in a row, and then you see the results of your deck, and you're like, well, I'll like this is the deck I'm gonna play at a YCS. Let me play 10 to 11 matches, but you have to make sure like your rating's at a good enough pace. You had to been playing a lot leading up to the event, and your rating should be at a really good point at this point. Like do you want to do this the week of the event? You pick the deck that you want to play the week of the event. You play 10 matches straight, and you see the results. If you went X4, there's something wrong.
Okay.
There if you went like X3, look at your matches. Look at every match that you lost. Recognize your losses. Was it you? Was it the deck? What was it? Like, that's the cool thing that I like about testing. Like, you get to see like all your losses on Dueling Book. You already could look back at your matches and be like, all right, this is what I have to change. This is what I have to fix. And then you go to the event with your new and improved list that you just played with. And if you have the time, you just run it again. You play 10 more matches in a row, say different different card choices. You do it again, and if you win 10 straight or 11 straight, or if you go like X1 or 2, then it's fine. Just take it to the event, run it. You're comfortable with it. You know how it's gonna be. Like you know what your results are gonna be at the end of the day. Even if you went like one and like or you went 8-2 or 9-2, that's fine. Take it to the event. If you go 9-2 at an event, you're topping with it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, that's a good way. I hope people can learn from that. That's generally something like I do consistently. So,
Man, that was quite the motivational speech for getting on Dueling Book. You should do a
yeah, I mean,
commercial for them or something. Even I want to
uh,
play Dueling Book now, and I hate that garbage website.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
that's crazy, but like it's the truth. And honestly, Dueling Book being manual actually helps a lot. Just doing the action yourself is so important. Once you go to a YCS and you start noticing that, man, me doing the interaction myself matters a lot because if you make the wrong interaction at IRL event, like you don't understand. The person in front of you might not be the nicest person in the world. They might just shark you. And honestly, like that happens to me a lot. Like I don't know, like I'm not the type to shark anybody, but like I get sharked a lot. If I make a mistake, it's over. Nobody's letting me take that back in an event. So like doing the interactions manually will get you better at like playing with proper play.
yeah,
And the way
definitely.
people work on like the people that play on Dueling Book like play interaction. Like they'll you wait for responses and like that's what you're doing at events. And like I think that matters a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Because you have to like take that time to keep your brain active and analyze the game state and figure out what cards do they have in their
Yeah,
hand.
look at their graveyard, make sure they're not cheating. Like you are still versing a person in front of you on Dueling, but you have to make sure they're not cheating. And in a real event, you're doing the same thing. You're making sure your opponent's not cheating. They're not doing anything like illegal. On Duel like on Wagio Pro, the game is doing everything for them. You know they're not cheating because it like you know that they're making all legal plays. Like on Dueling Book is totally different. You can see if people are making illegal plays or if people making correct plays. It's kind of neat, honestly. So.
Okay.
So
Um.
similar to an event.
Okay. Cool. I can dig this. I can get on to this train. How many hours of Dueling Book do I need to play a day to become a good player?
Um, to become that's a that's a
To make
crazy
it to
question
day
to
two
ask
out of
for me.
YCS, like,
Um,
what do I need to
I
do?
think I think you need to put minimum 2 hours, like minimum.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you that there's some events I woke up, played 4 hours today, go to bed, go to bed for like maybe take like a nap, 2 to 3 hours, wake up, play for another 4 hours, and then like eat, take a break, chill, and then play for another 4 hours. Playing like 12 hours a day at one point, like just crazy stuff. But now
Damn.
I'm a busy guy now. Like I'm trying to get my stuff started. Doing TCG player, selling cards consistently, starting to stream. I stream pretty much 3 days a week right now. I try to stream every day, but some things come up. Today I was gonna stream, but I knew to get on this podcast, so.
That's cool. The best way to grow on Twitch is to grow on YouTube.
Okay. I mean, I'm definitely gonna start putting out more content on YouTube. I just want to put out like good content. So like I've been thinking of some stuff. Like I don't want to put out anything that's like not the best. Like I'm trying to put out the best content for my viewers. And I feel like my streams have been super educational. If you want to learn anything about the new format or if you want to get prepped for an event, like I'm actually like just playing on Duel and Book and I show interactions, I show deck lists that might be relevant. I talk about the meta. So
Okay.
if you guys want to check that out, it's Hani TCG. So
Okay. I would encourage you to maybe think a little bit more about not only putting out the best content, because on YouTube, quantity can be better than quality. Like, you want to spit out as many videos to get your numbers up and your exposures and get that algorithm going. Because that's what happened to
okay.
me once I started my Road to ICS series. Like, my Twitch just expanded like crazy. And then every time you talk, which you do frequently, like when I did that gamer stream thing, I gained like 1,000 followers on like Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
Oh, that's huge,
Type
yeah.
of thing. It like changed my entire life. Um, and
Oh, that's
so
awesome. That's awesome.
so yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
everyone needs a boost. That's cool that was your boost. That's awesome.
yeah, and then I've been trying to do something right since then without success. But I don't
I
play
mean,
enough. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, you just gotta actively try. I feel like anyone can accomplish anything in this game. You just gotta really put your best into it and try to win. I mean, like playing a lot comes with it. I know like a lot of people like want to win, but to win you have to play a lot. I think that's I think
Yeah.
it's important. Like recently, it's been showing a lot though. Like the only event I can think of, like man, like the person that won just didn't put in like that much testing and won was probably like like Brazil. Like the person that won Brazil just like was a local who played Mystic Mine and just won, which is cool. But like everyone else before that was like I feel like people that were actually playing and like putting in the work. So
Yeah.
I'm happy, that that's how the game is right now.
How do
It's
you
showing.
how do you stay motivated if you don't do well?
I think you got to like. I mean, I feel like you just always got to look at your losses and see why you didn't do well. You can't blame you can't blame anything. You just got to really just look at what your losses were. Like you just got to know that you could always improve in something. I feel like that's best advice I can give.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't do well at the LA regional, and I just haven't really played much since then. Because I've just
But like
been.
yeah, like when I don't do well in an event, like for me it's like, well, I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna do more testing than I did before. And I'm gonna try to do better. I'm gonna look at my losses. If I made mistakes, like I'm gonna make sure I don't make those mistakes again. At the last event, I made a mistake in round two, and yeah, that's what cost me the event. I feel like at an event you could take two uncontrollable losses. The moment you lose to yourself is the moment you're probably not gonna top the tournament.
Uh huh.
And yeah, like that's I believe that's why I didn't top the last event. So this event I'm prepping way more, and I'm planning not to lose a single match to myself this next event and every event coming. Like that's the way you have to look at it. You have to play to enough to never lose to yourself. The moment you lose to yourself, I'm telling you, that's when it really all ends. Like you're putting it all on luck at that point. You mess up and then sometimes it might be enough. You might get lucky. Sometimes you might not get lucky and you'll just lose the game because you messed up. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Like the mental game is strong, definitely. Staying
Yeah.
focused and stuff. I think
Oh,
a
and
lot of
keeping your
people.
composure. Yeah, like I struggled with that for like the longest time, keeping my composure in an event after losing and stuff like that. But like I've gotten a lot better at like keeping my composure after like like recently in the last couple of years too. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's always like learning your flaws and trying to fix them. And I felt like that was like one big flaw of mine. I used to not like I'd lose focus or lose my composure if I just lost a match, and it's just not like that for me anymore. For me, it is what it is, and if I lost to myself, I have nothing to blame but myself. But it is what it is. I got to look forward to the rest of my rounds, and if I just get sacked or if like it happened to not be my day and my opponent just opened better, or if it was out of my control, then it is what it is. A good game, and move on to the next one. Can't
Mhm.
really control those.
So how do you keep your composure? Like if you misplay or you get a loss or you.
If I misplay, I'm like, okay, well, I misplayed. It is what it is. I just got to continue and hope I could somehow get out of the scenario. And if I don't, it is what it is. Like I already made the mistake, and it could cost me the game. And if it did, I can't let that cost me the tournament. You can never let a match cost you a whole entire tournament. And that's what I realized early. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not trying to make a match cost me a whole entire tournament. And I
Mhm.
like for me, 2018. I was really 2018, 2017, I was really like helping people a lot in the game, and then moving forward like in 2019 I really started focusing on myself, and that's why you see a lot more results in 2019 than you did in the past. And then like in 2020 and like obviously like now like 2022 and stuff, I mean like I felt like I also just like really just started focusing more on my singular gameplay, and like having less testing partners is probably like I feel like people think it's not a good thing, but I think it's a good thing if you have an understanding of what you're doing. But if you don't have like a clear understanding of what to do or how to deck build and stuff like that, that's when I think like being in a circle is like beneficial. But like past that, I don't think like being in a circle is always the best thing, because like I feel like now it's just like well like every top player any top player can win. It's just like who has the like correct deck choice, I think, or who could play correctly, or who doesn't get sacked by the guy that's like has the floodgate in their deck.
Yeah, definitely. We have a question in the chat, like saying, for example, if you play tournaments at an event, what's your take to not lose to a randomly lucky Flunder player?
I mean, that has happened to me so many times where I've lost a flunder. This year, I've lost a flunder so many times. Like, um, yeah, I mean, there's no control in it, bro. If they shift their Rabina field spell, hard piece Feather Storm. I mean, you just can't do anything about those games, and it is what it is. Like I never try to dwell on those games. Like sometimes like you'll lose to like random lucky players, but like you can't always look at it like that too. You got to look at the match. Like make sure that you didn't misplay. Like sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I got shifted this," but then like they made a mistake inside the duel. Like there could have been a win con that they didn't see. So like always try to make sure you're playing your game out to the fullest. Like some people, I see people give up the moment a card's like flipped, and like that's not good. Like when people get mined and like they just react like awfully when they have outs in their deck, or when people like get floodgated and like they start being negative, or if they get shifted and they start being negative, like nah, that's not good. Like you gotta be focused on your match. Like you could win any game. Like you can't put it on your opponent playing correctly every time. A lot of the times, like you got to put on your opponent making mistakes, and it's bound to happen. Like people do make mistakes. Not a lot of people play a lot. Like there's people that make mistakes at events. Like I see it firsthand. Like I see people making mistakes in the middle of my matches, but it is what it is. Like they just didn't put enough time in, or they probably just didn't know their deck enough, or they just didn't see the correct line. It's one of the it's one of the three.
Okay. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense too. Because some things are out of your control, but you can't say something's out of your control when you did have some control in it.
Yeah, and I've
And
seen it a lot. I've seen it from top players. I've seen it from like other players. And me as a player, I try not to do it like that. Like I try to look at my losses, and if I'm like, man, I lost to myself. I lost to myself. Like this last event, like I said, in round two, I lost to myself. Nothing, no one to blame.
yeah,
That's it.
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. But it's good that you're keeping going, type of thing. Because that's something a lot of my viewers kind of struggle with is staying level. Because a lot of my viewers are kind of on the spectrum where they're casual, but they'd like to be more competitive. So they're stumbling on a lot of roadblocks, like keeping composure, practicing enough, what to do in niche scenarios, things like that. So do you want to talk a little bit more about like how do you go from casual to competitive?
Yeah, from going casual to competitive, I really played casual. That's how I started. I mean, um, to get competitive, I feel like you want to get inspired. So like I watched a lot of past Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I'm gonna be honest, I watched a lot of past Yu-Gi-Oh, and I seen all like the past top players accomplish what they accomplished, and I watched their duels, and I look back and I'm like, wow, man, it's crazy what they could like what they did and like what they accomplished and how they played, and looking at interactions like that, that gets you more motivated to do well and play like that. I feel like that's one thing. A lot of the like players that are good today, I asked them like, hey, did you watch like a lot of past Yu-Gi-Oh? And a lot of them say yeah. Like a lot of the players that I know that are like really good in the game have watched past Yu-Gi-Oh and have learned the history of Yu-Gi-Oh. Learning the history of Yu-Gi-Oh I think is important. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too.
Oh, and
Um,
also I think this is also important. It doesn't matter who you're versing. You could always beat anybody. Don't let anybody like intimidate you when you're dueling. Anybody could win, anybody can lose. This is Yu-Gi-Oh. That's another that's another thing. I think
it's
that's like
true.
important.
Yes, like last weekend I lost to Jesse Cotton, and that had never happened to me before. The joke is I beat him once, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, like anyone could be anybody. Like you just have to like try your best, do your best. I know there's a lot of people that have it came up to me like at a YCS, were bought a duel, and they pull their seat up and they're like, ugh. And I'm like, bro, like I don't know how you can have that energy. You gotta be positive. You gotta be like, I'm about to beat this player. I don't care. You gotta have that energy. You gotta have some. You gotta believe in yourself to win.
Yeah, but it is very intimidating to play against a top player in a tournament.
You can't look at it like that. If you put in the work and you put in the testing, that's like you gotta have that good energy. Like you know what you're capable of. You know if you're capable of winning.
Okay. I gotta take this on. I mean, one of the reasons I started this podcast was to force myself to talk to people who are like, you know, pro players or quote unquote pro players. And like, I'll duel everyone so that way I don't get so intimidated if I ever have to duel you in real life. It's like, oh, I played him before, type of a thing.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool way to do it. But like, yeah, you shouldn't be intimidated by any player. And like, I feel like that's why I have probably a lot of success. Like, I've versed a lot of top players at events, and honestly, like my record isn't too bad and against them. I try to just like stay positive every time I verse a great player. And even till this day, like if I verse a friend or a great player, like it is what it is, man. It could go either way. Let's see, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see how this game goes. You know,
Okay.
if you win, it is what it is. If I win, it is what it is. Let's see how this game goes. Let's see if you misplay or if I misplay. Let's see if I just opened insane and you didn't open insane. Let's see if you bricked, I bricked. It just, you know, it could go either way. That's the greatest thing about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, definitely. You know,
And like,
like fun stuff happens too.
yeah, and like I feel like at a tournament, like I said, you could afford to take 1 to 2 losses. You just gotta make sure, like, um, you just gotta make sure that your deck is just good enough to like win 8 matches in a tournament, and like I feel like that's what you want, consistency. So,
Okay. I can feel it. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
um, yeah, I would say YCS Portland. I just got top 8 with going second Orchest, and I lost in top 8, and I just lost to myself, and I was thinking, man. I really just tossed, and my friend Carl Manigat comes up to me and he was like, "Yeah, man, you just play too fast. You just gotta slow down your gameplay. Look at your hand one more time before you make a play. Look at your opponent's grave one more time before you make a play, and like keep your composure." I'm like, "Yeah, I think you're right. I think I did just play too fast, and that was the best advice I ever gotten from somebody." And 2 events later, I won. So,
Okay. I like that success story. I have the opposite problem. I play too slow, but I don't know what to do about that.
um, yeah, I mean that's practicing. That's actually what it is. If you practice a lot and you test a lot, you know the scenarios, and you get familiar with scenarios. And once you get to a table, those scenarios just come up into your head quicker, and you're able to make plays faster. And that's honestly what you gotta do. I hope that's good advice, because that's actually the truth. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, we're working on it. It's just hard because I'm like, I work 2 jobs. I have my YouTube, I
oh,
have
I get that
Twitch,
completely.
that sort of
I will
thing.
say, just try to make it like after your priorities and like everything else, like before you play like any hobby, it's just like or like try to like watch TV or something else, like do something else. Maybe try to like prioritize it like a little bit more, play like a little bit more a day. Try to prioritize getting a couple hours in a day. Maybe prioritize like getting 1 or 2 hours a day. And it could be any
Okay.
time in the day as long as you get it, you get the duels in and you try to learn from your duels. Like maybe one day you can only play for like 2 hours, and then the next day you could probably look at the replay, see if you could have played better, stuff like that. Don't just
Okay.
like continuously play games. Like try to play games, look at your replays, try to like see if you could have done anything differently. See, like try to actually win your games too. Don't play like matches and just like slack off in them. I know like a lot of people will play like a match and then like start doing something else or slack off, not care about it. And honestly, a lot of the time that's why I don't like playtesting like with regular people. Like a lot of in a lot of times in the past I would literally play people for money just so I can test. And I mean it was a great way to test because the person that I'm versing is taking the game seriously. He's trying to win. You know why? Because there's money on the line. He's definitely trying to win.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But
pro players seem to be really into money matches type of a thing.
um I mean, like I was doing it for the testing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I won a lot of money playing for bread in the past, but I mean, I don't do it as often. I don't try to play for money as much anymore. Now I'm really more on that. Just testing on Dueling Book is the way for me now. I really just like doing that a lot more. Just like grinding at OD and honestly, like grinding rated. Like when I won YCS Lima Peru, I was number 1 and number 2 on Dueling Book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wait, how do you be one and two? Two
uh,
accounts?
2 accounts, 2 ults.
Oh,
Grinded them both to number 1 and 2. Yep.
okay, interesting. Alright, I can dig it.
Yeah, with
Okay.
me and my boy Kamal Crooks. Unfortunately, you cannot play that event.
Ah,
It's
I've
cool.
heard of Kamal, but I have not met him. Or if I did, I forgot. I don't know. I meet a lot of people. Okay, what is your best advice for new players or, people that want to get
Um,
better?
yeah, I would just say play play a lot of Dueling Book and watch a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. Look into the past of Yu-Gi-Oh, and then start looking into the current format. Like I feel like if you look into the past, like it's great, and then like keep up with the current format. Look at deck profiles. uh, Look at like what other people are doing. YouTube is your best friend. Get as much information as you can. Start joining Facebook groups that have deck lists if you want to get better at like building decks, looking into decks, trying to like see and keep up with the meta. Oh, and like try people's decks. Like if you see a deck list online, like sometimes it's good to like play a deck list before knocking a deck list. Like a lot of people will sit there and talk smack on somebody's deck before even trying it, and that's not a good thing. I feel like you should try decks before you judge them or have an opinion on them. And I like honestly in the past, for nationals, there was a deck in the Punk group, and it was the Gizmek Punk deck. This guy played three Gizmek in his Punk deck, and people were not like people were not giving it any attention at all. People didn't give it a care in a world. And I thought that was like the correct deck for nationals. I played it at nationals. I ended up losing on the bubble. So did Pack. And honestly, like my matches were all uncontrollable for that event. And honestly, I wasn't upset at my losses. The next weekend, I ended up playing like an ultra rare, uh, like it was ultra rare prize card tournament. It was like an extravaganza, and me and Pack played the exact same deck, and he ended up winning the tournament, and I got top 32. And that was with the punk deck. I thought that deck was like super underrated. People pretty much like just like were talking smack about the deck list on the group, and I mean I gave it a try and I thought it was insane. So I mean, don't knock deck lists. Try them before you knock them.
Yes, I like that. So everyone, before you knock my pure megalith deck, try it. It's so good. It's a good deck, guys. It's a good deck. Okay. Anyway, let's see. What is your favorite deck that you've ever played?
Um, Orchist. I just loved. I loved the Orchist deck. I felt like it was so slept on too. I played that deck from like all almost pretty much the remainder of 2019 from Portland all the way to yeah, Pasadena. I mean, that was like there was like four events. I got to play it, and I topped. Oh, actually, it was like I think it was like five or six events. I think it was I think it was seven events actually, and I topped. It was seven events. I topped five of them. I scrubbed one of them, and I bubbled. Yeah, like I did terrible at one of them, and I bubbled one of them, and that was like in the last seven events. It was crazy, or the last seven. It was crazy. I got like
Okay.
five tops with Orchist. How many tops was it? It was with the Orchid deck specifically, I won Lima Peru with it. Top 16 YCS Niagara, top 8 at Portland. Um, top 16 Niagara, top 8 Portland, top 32 Pasadena. Oh, and then the win in Lima Peru. So four tops with it. That's four tops, and one of them was a win. Spiral would probably be my second favorite deck. I just like the combo that Spiral played, and I have pretty decent amount of accomplishments with that deck as well. I think I have three tops with that deck: one top four, one top 8, and one top 16.
Okay. Cool. Thoughts on the ban list?
Thoughts on the ban list? The ban list was great. Mystic Mine should have got banned, in my opinion, but it is what it is. We just got to keep prepping for it and making sure we're prepared for it. Snow was a really great ban. Ronin hurt me a little bit, but honestly, it's fine. Like, it's okay. I just think it sucks that we lost Ronin. I
Yeah.
like that the Splight deck was abusing that package, but now that they don't have that package, I think the deck's struggling quite a bit. But I think there's a couple new variants that are starting to see the light, and they might actually show results. So I don't think Sprite is completely dead, but I think it's getting better down the line. So
Oh yeah. With
for other cards, Hulk getting banned was great because there's less Scythe. I mean, I know Sanctum is accessible, but I think it's fine. Now tuners are starting to get unbanned, which is great. I expected that. They've unbanned like two tuners so far, I believe, and I'm hoping to see Global maybe next. Um, and Jet Synchron, hopefully. I think those should just be unbanned at this point, but
I
we'll
thought
wait and
Jet
see.
Synchron's at one.
Is Jet Synchron at one? I didn't think Jet Synchron was at one. I'm pretty sure Jet Synchron's banned. Yeah, I don't
Chat.
think that card's it's banned. There's no way. Right?
I am pretty because
Mm,
I would not know what Jet Song Synchron does unless I saw it in a game.
let me see.
I will
Oh, it's at
bet.
one. You're right. You're right. It is at one. It is at one. Yeah. So okay, cool. So Jets at one. Everyone's at one. So that's pretty good. Oh, it came back after Ordon. That's crazy. So okay, that's great. So I mean, that's great. So Glow Bulb is probably next.
Okay.
All right, and that's the last one. I think that's the last one. I don't think there's any other tuner that I'm missing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and I think the rest of the list was just fine. I don't think anything else was that like crazy. I wish Call by the Grave got banned too. Red Reboot getting banned kind of sucks. Um,
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I don't like that at all either. I don't think anyone likes that. A pointer going to one was kind of weird. Um, I think I just wish like that card just stayed at three instead. Cause like I would rather a floodgate get hit than that get hit. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it's just way worse for a floodgate to get flipped on you than a pointer. Like the card comes back to your hand too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? Like that's all the hits. I didn't miss anything.
Yeah. So what do you think is the best deck now?
What do I think is the best deck now? Tier limit. Oh, I think I did play Jet in Hartford. I just forgot. That's crazy. Um, let me see. Mm, I think tier limit is the pretty much the best deck, but the best deck might not always be the best choice at an event, and
Tell us
that's
more.
a and that's another that's another like good discussion. I feel like sometimes playing the best deck might be the incorrect choice if you can't prep for the mirror match properly, or if the mirror match is just too RPS related. And at an event, sometimes I'd rather just not play the best deck. I'd rather play a deck that's more consistent, play more non-engine, and is more of a counter to the best deck. And a lot of the time, that could just sneak you into top cut. And once you get into top cut, sometimes it could just be an easy win if you're prepped for a certain matchup. And we could see that happen recently at YCS Niagara, where Ray played Exo Sister, and he pretty much just smacked everybody the moment he went into top cut because he versed all tier element. So yeah, and I think Shifter is a great card, and it did help him win some games. But I'll let you know for a fact that a lot of his games that were won were because of the fact that he played Exo Sister, and if he won the dice roll, Exo Sister also has a really really good like engine against the tier card. So I wouldn't say it was just Shifter. I would say it was also the deck choice from Ray. And if it was just Shifter, like then I feel like everyone would be playing a Shifter deck. I don't think Shifter is the only card to be blamed in that scenario.
Yeah, like I made a joke a long time ago when Tier was getting up that like Exo Sister was gonna rise up because my best Yu-Gi-Oh player friend plays Exo Sisters, and it was just such a goddamn challenge playing against him like every single week at locals. Like his freaking Exo Sister deck was just like completely against Tier, and it was always such a struggle. So I think
Yeah, it's
that
a hard
guy,
matchup.
the guy made a really good choice picking Exo Sister
Yeah,
type of
it was a
thing.
really great choice, and from Ryan Yu as well, as we've seen a lot of accomplishments from him coming up player. He's insane.
Yeah, yeah, he's great.
Uh,
He's
and it's
straight
cool to
great.
see Ray actually win. I think he got second at nationals, so it's awesome. I think
Okay.
Cody beat him. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Cool.
yeah. So
Awesome.
the more
Um,
you know.
let's see. Okay, so I don't know what to play. Like I picked tier limit because I just like the deck. It's just fun for me. But I've kind of like I don't really know what the best tier version is. So like I've been hesitant to play cuz I just don't know what I should play. So, do you have any thoughts on what the like best tier deck is?
Yeah, I think it's a danger tier element deck.
I've
I've
been
been
messing with
working
the
on this
Luna
lately.
Light one for a while now. And the only reason I didn't play it at the LA regional was because I couldn't get it down in time. I was getting kind of stressed out.
Yeah.
Um, but
I haven't even learned the combos fully for that deck yet, and maybe I should, because like I don't know, like I mean Pac and Nesh have played it in the past and they've talked about it for a minute. I just haven't really gave it the look because I mean I just didn't like how many cards it was and the amount of non-engine in your deck. How many non-engine do you have in your deck? Six?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I can show you my list after.
Okay, because like right now I'm playing like nine non-engine and like four in a 41 card deck, and that's my danger tier deck. And I think that's good. Like playing nine non-engine in a 41 card deck is great, I think. And especially like a deck like tier that could like force through boards. And my non-engine is like non-engine you could like sometimes draw into as well. Like you could draw into super poly off of dangers and stuff. So like I think that's like a cool thing you could do.
Okay. Have you looked at the new cards for the Darkwing Blast?
I have. Nesh sent me a whole entire card list, and I looked at a lot of the cards in that set. And I would say that the Bisted cards are going to be really good. I would say the Pendulum deck might be something that you should look into. The new Link 4 is insane.
The
There's
Underworld one? Or is the other one?
it's the here. Let me pull it up. I have to see the card list again to get the actual name of it. Let me see. He
Salad
sent.
will rise again.
Yeah, it was World Ocean Dragon. Uh, Zelenatus. That's that's the name of it, I think. So, World Ocean Dragon. You can look them up. And then the Bisted cards are in the set. Those are also good. What's the other? There's a card that's like uh Fenrir. I think there's like a new Pinkertops. I could send you this cards individually. I suck at pronouncing card names, but
Okay, yeah, I went through the list yesterday with someone, and so he was showing me what the good cards are, like the one that's like
oh
Pankratops,
yeah, yeah,
and the
that's the one.
Bisted
Yeah,
and
that's the one.
stuff. So that's why I kind of want to play
And the tier cards.
pure tier with Bisted with that new card and hand traps. I kind of feel like, but I don't know, pure tier's kind of like a little weak, but the hand traps could push far. Because if you hand
I
trap
created a list the other day with Nesh.
with the new cards or just old cards?
Nah, with the new cards, with the new cards, and it was a Bisted deck, and I played Bisted Danger with hand traps in my deck, and tier two as well, of course. So that's the list that we made. I can send you the list that we made the other day. Let me see if I could.
I would
Oh, there it
greatly
goes.
appreciate that.
Yeah, this is like a first draft. I mean, I made it on his stream. My power head went out, and we hopped on his stream. And I was like, you know what? Let's test for mini while I have the chance because I don't really have the opportunity to test for mini a lot because I am prepping for YCS Ecuador the week right before mini, so I'm gonna barely have time to really prep for mini. And I think my one
Oh,
I just read the cards. I'm really good at like reading cards and like knowing what it fits into. So I pretty much just like came up with this list off the top of my head. And I pretty much sent it to Nesh. It was like a rough draft of the deck. Um,
okay.
and yeah, I sent it to you. I think it's cool the list that we made. And there's also some cool things in the extra deck that we're doing. Like we're summoning Beatrice because the Bisted cards. We're doing a lot of different things, right? Like we're doing Dweller. We're playing. I mean, Beatrice, Baron. We play one Visa Starfrost in the main because you could summon it off of
The
or
Bisted.
you
Or not the
yeah,
Bisted, the
the field
continuous
spell.
spell.
Well, we play Greaves as well, and you can summon Visa Starfrost from your deck. So
Okay.
Greaves summons Visa Starfrost, and the field spell adds it. And
Okay.
then he's a level six. The Bisteds are level six, so it makes Beatrice. It also is a like a level six tuner that you could synchro with to make Baron. So now we can make Baron. Um, we can make Beatrice with it. So it's a cool card. We're also playing Sprite Sprint. It's also from the new set, and that card takes two monsters, including a level or rank two monster or link two monster. And its effect is it pretty much foolish burials Merly from your deck to your grave. So that's another cool thing you could do. Also, it has this additional effect on it that's very important that people aren't probably gonna know. So like I feel like everyone should always be wary of this effect. Uh, you could uh, you could deattach a material from a monster you control, and then target one monster on the field, return it to the hand. And that's pretty important because like sometimes you could deattach materials off of Dweller or deattach materials off of Beatrice to then target a monster on your opponent's field and return it to the hand. So like that's another cool effect off of the sprint. And we were playing the new tier fusion. That card plays around Nibiru.
Yeah, it
Um,
does.
and yeah, I think the list that like we built the other day was pretty solid. And we play Eradicator Virus. Eradicator's insane in this deck. Do you guys know why? Because the new Bissett card, uh, Magnet
$2,500
is
impart.
2500 attack, and the other one as well. Um, that's the cool thing about that. So Eradicator, insane again. In this deck specifically, I have one in the main deck so far. You could set it off a Griffin. It's in my extra deck. I play Curious and I play Beatrice to send Eradicator. And then you could side deck two more copies if you like. So that's how you're probably going to beat mine in the future. You could probably like set that up very, very easily in this deck. So that's very awesome. So Hartford, yeah, man, like the deck's going to be crazy, I think. Like the deck's going to be insane because just like to detach. Like you get to make Beatrice with the Bisted cards. The Bisted cards are engine and non-engine cards because they're extenders by banishing a light or dark from your grave or your opponent's grave. And yeah, they're also just like DD Crows during your opponent's turn, and it's cool because like I play four of those, and I play like six non-engine, so I'm technically playing. Technically playing 10 non-engine and 40, and that's perfect. And like I'm liking it a lot. Like I think that list that I sent you is probably worth like playing at YCS. Like if Mini was like tomorrow, like I would probably be comfortable playing that deck at a YCS because I already know what I'm capable of doing with a deck list like that.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, because I'm not even going to go to locals. I'm just going to test the Minneapolis format because I'm going to Minneapolis.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I do. Just start testing with your friends. Start looking into more stuff. I mean, that's very little. Like I'm talking about, that was me first. Like that's first glance, my deck list. First glance. Like I looked at the list, I built that first glance. So I don't know. Yeah, I haven't tested enough of the other stuff yet. But like, there's also like the Pendulum deck that might be a great choice because it could beat it could beat Dweller. It plays around the Bisted cards. So who knows? Pendulum might be the nuts. Like that might be the deck. So you got to look into the pendulum stuff. You got to look into all that stuff and probably pick up Beyond the Pendulum now before it shoots up. Like I think that's also another thing because if the pendulum deck is insane, Beyond the Pendulum is going to be a pretty hard card to get, I think.
okay. Um, one last question. Well, two last questions. Can you tell us about your Medify and the benefits of coaching?
So yeah, for my Metafy, I pretty much it depends on the which course you're taking because I have different options. I have one-on-one sessions where I go over specific things. Like one could be just deck building, where you give me a deck, we'll go over the deck list, we'll go over card choices, and I'll also show what I'll show other versions of that deck list, and we'll pretty much we'll pretty much like build a side deck. We'll go over side patterns because I feel like a lot of people struggle with going like over side patterns. So in my deck building sessions, I make sure like people learn the side pattern. People understand the ratios of why you should play this many hand traps or why you should play this much non-engine or why you should play this many of certain card. Like I pretty much break it all down just depending on which deck it is. Uh, and if you do a tech play session, me and you will play a one-on-one match, and then after that we'll review the replay, and we'll also play a match together on rated, and then we'll review the replay of that, and that's the tech play session usually. And I know on on my Metafy it says like 1 hour session, but like I do that practice every single time, and if it goes over an hour, it is what it is. Like I'm still there just to do that. Like that's how I do it. So I mean, I'm gonna if it goes over an hour, it goes over an hour. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm there to do the session.
Okay,
Like if
cool.
the match went an hour long, it is what it is. Like I'll sit and wait there an extra hour playing the match with you, but like that's or like going over the match and going over the replays and stuff. So
Okay, awesome. And how do we find you?
um, you could just go to let me see what the link is. It's mfy.gg/@hani, and that's the Metafy link.
Okay, I put that in chat. What about your Twitch?
Oh yeah, let me send
Let me
you
try
all
that
that
new
information.
shout out feature. Shout out. Did that work?
Alright. I sent you my Metafy on Discord. See, I'll send you my Twitch now.
Shout out. Honey?
Well, that's my Twitch.
TCT.
And then I've been getting on Twitter recently, so if you guys want that, if you guys want to keep up with me, I'm also on Twitter. I'm trying to post more there.
Okay. Alright. Guys, I use the shout out feature. So be sure to click it in order to follow Hani. And if that doesn't work, then let me know and I will just put the link in the chat. Actually, I'll do that anyway. Okay, so everyone must go follow Hani. Okay? Alright, so that was the episode with Hani Jawhari. Please like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. I don't know, just do whatever you want to make me feel better, okay? Please. Thank you. And yeah, thank you very much. We're on Spotify. Catch me on
Thanks,
Twitch.
Zara, for having me. Appreciate it.
Twitch.tv/fifth-rate duelist. Okay, bye-bye.